All right, here we are on May 14th. Welcome to the replay. If you want to see this live, make sure that you subscribe and make sure you hit the bell. So you have to hit subscribe and then you have to hit the bell until it says I will receive all notifications. Otherwise, it'll just give you some notifications. You won't get the live streaming. So we have some people that will be coming on the live stream, and if the notifications go out right here pretty soon. But wanted to just thank you guys for your support of this channel, and we'll move forward with some amazing things about pain coming. That's what Cueanon is saying. SS, there you are. Rory, good to see you guys. So we are live now for those who aren't on the replay. So we're talking about the Cueanon May 14th, pain coming. I'm traveling at a client site here, so a different part of the United States than I usually am. But I just saw so much going on. I had to get on and record because there's some crazy stuff going on. Hey, Larry. Hey, Seth. Hey, Miles. Good to see you guys. Felicia, good to see you as well. Some pain is coming, and here we are, Cueanon, May 14th. We have some stuff from Rudy Giuliani, and he knows where the bodies are buried. It's another thing that we're going to see. So let's get into this. First, I want to correct one thing from my last post. Obviously, this is Assad from Syria. I had mentioned that was Macron because of some earlier post that was silly. But what's interesting about this, if you look at it, he's talking about Macron and obviously Kerry, who Kerry was caught just with 3 Iranians. He's going around trying to basically undermine Trump and every chance he gets. And this also shows Assad and Nancy Pelosi. So obviously, I think what Q is insinuating here with these posts that we ended with yesterday was that Assad is part of this whole Iranian deal where there had Syria plants and had the nuclear weapons being built and refined, which Netanyahu exposed last week. And obviously this tells me that both Pelosi and Kerry are both involved, not just Kerry, and we know McCain is as well. So that'll be real interesting as they dig into that type of stuff. So good to see you guys. I am looking up because that's where the TV's mounted on the wall in my hotel. And hopefully I am actually streaming from, since the hotel Wi-Fi was so bad, I'm streaming from my mobile device. So we'll see how well this works. You guys have to tell me how terrible it is. Hopefully it's not going to, we'll continue to hold for us here. So today, there's tons of new information coming again. So you can see this long post here where he actually posted on 1361, you'll see here, a sample. He just says a sample of just all these stories that are trying to paint, and they're all deep state Mockingbird media. Those of you who've heard me talk before, where the Mockingbird media gets their 4 a.m. talking points, and then they slander and just use the propaganda of the deep state. So if you want to know the truth about anything to do with politics, you are going to be lied to on any of the Mockingbird media. And here's tons of examples, now all coordinated, as Q says, for a LARP. That's the question mark. LARP is live action replay. It's basically saying a fake person, right? A fake intelligent agent. Now here we are since October of 28th. All this awesome information we've gotten from Q that corroborated probably 15 or 20 times. I've got to get some time probably this weekend to actually show the 15 or 20 confirmation Q's given us to show him he's legit. And he's not compromised, as many people are saying now. And we'll dig into that a little bit as we go here. Attacks will only intensify. Ask yourself why. Now, why would they attack Q if he was just fake? If he was just AI, right? If he's just artificial intelligence. Why would they attack him? For a LARP, a live action replay, is fake. Obviously, he's having massive effect. More people are waking up. And people like you are sharing videos like this. This does not be a good first one. Obviously, my one I did 2.5 weeks ago would be a much better one to share with people to wake people up. But let's look at some of these articles. Probably my favorite one I look at is this Comedy Central one. You guys got to go look at this. I don't want to get strikes, and so I don't play videos here. But this is like a little 6-minute video that is mocking of anybody that believes Trump. You'll be offended when you watch it, but then when you go back and look at all the comments, it's hilarious. So look at this, got 2.7 up votes and 1.8 thousand down votes. So what is that? About 60, 70, 60. I'm sorry, about probably 60, 70 665, 55 or whatever. But if you look at this and go look at the comments that this video got, and it has several deceiving things that are totally lies. It's a very professional and well done video, but incredibly mocking. But it actually used an anon, saying it was Q when it wasn't, saying that Hillary Clinton was going to be arrested on a specific date at a specific time. That was an anon that guessed that, talking about the boot everybody was talking about being an ankle bracelet. None of that was said by Q himself, right? If you go back and look at that. But look at this. Mockingbird, 430 upvotes, talking about Mockingbird, right? And then a bunch of people, 44 votes on, basically panic mode, 561. I sensed a panic. Nobody escapes this. Nobody. 160 upvotes, 175, 80 upvotes. What are you talking about? Panic mode. Can you panic, right? Can you hear that sound? Panic. And of course, I found a video of the latest Q drop. Well done. Fall. CC accidentally red pills audience. So basically it says fail. Fail. So basically Comedy Central accidentally red pills the audience. So again, you got to go watch this video. So it's in the link. If you just go to Cueanon.pub, right? And you just go here and you find the one that's a YouTube video, you will see that Comedy Central video. You could probably search for it on Cueanon, but take that 6 minutes and you'll see the vicious attack, very well done, famous people mocking Q, mocking you, mocking me, right? And then you'll just see just tons of articles as well that the storm is the new Pizzagate, only worse, right? We saw this article, I think, before in the earlier one, but and that same article done by several of are posted across a ton of other different magazines, and Harper's Magazine and or newspapers, right, nationwide. Seattle Times is an example. This is that same Michelle Goldberg one, the conspiracy theory that says Trump's a genius. Right, so that whole thing was posted multiple times, and then the conspiracy theory claims Trump is a secret genius who pretended to collude with Russia to defeat child sex traffickers, making truth look like error. And I think it's just going to backfire on him as more and more people start to understand what this is. It's the conspiracy theory that says Trump's a genius, and that was with Real Clear Politics. And so the Mockingbird media is all over this now, right? And then they get into a lot of them it will be with the Roseanne bar as well. The conspiracy theory behind a curious Roseanne bar, tweet explained. So this is getting serious. And Q warned us of this. He says it's going to get only worse, right? So if you want to go look at all those articles and read some of those, that's fine. But just letting you know that it's basically making anybody who believes in Q look like a fool, just like they tried to do with Pizzagate, right? And so that is the first post that really gets into mocking QAnon people. But then there's things like this going on here in the next post. Look at this. This is kind of interesting. For those of you who've been watching and supporting me, I want to say thank you. There's something kind of eerie and scary happened here. So in Oklahoma, there's this big whiteboard. So I don't know if you can see that. It says, where we go one, we go all. The Great Awakening. And it has a website name here. Do you know Q? Do you know Q? And if you go click on that website, the first thing that's going to come up is this homepage right here that explains the Great Awakening. It's trying to collect your email. It's trying to sell different things like what is it? There's a store. You can buy different Q stuff. You can share your story. You can get a business directory. You can get some type of website rolling yourself, get emails with updates on Q. But if you click on this right here, who is Q? Look what comes up. My video. So this is a video I did 2.5 months ago that I like to share with people about how to teach them how to use Cueanon.pub, right? And so you click on that, and it's an embedded video. Unfortunately, it doesn't go to YouTube, but it plays that video back from February. So and it gives a pretty good explanation of what Q is right here on this who is Q deal, as well as having that video posted right there. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys. That wouldn't be happening. People wouldn't even know about this if there wasn't, over 12,000 people following, subscribed, and you guys tweeting this. And I want to really say thank you as we start to wake up more people. This is the video that several people told me not to redo it, even though there's 5 or 6 things I'd want to improve in that. It just kind of caught on and has I don't know, 122,000 views or something. So that's the one I would suggest if you're trying to red pill your friends, because it tries to not offend. It doesn't talk a lot about negative things about Obama originally, because a lot of people still love him, right? So I'm trying to get this left and right to come together, as you know, like the melting pot that goes over the Rubik's Cube, the red pill and the blue pill. And the red pill and blue pill is very made fun of in the Comedy Central video. So that's why I think more people are going to be interested in who is Q. Do you know Q is this site? Do you know Q? So now there's a bunch of arguments here about whether this is just trying to make money like Corsi, and Q clears that up and says it's okay to make money when you're being a journalist, is what he's talking about. You'll see that being cleared up. It's when you're trying to subvert Q, like was happening, is what Q was trying to get out of the system, right? So let's go back to these posts, but that's kind of, so Q basically comments on this huge billboard in Oklahoma and says they are afraid. They are losing control of the message. Where we go one, we go all. Q. So he basically is saying, giving credence to this movement, I guess, this doyouknowq.com. But then I learned he deleted this off the 8chan board. So we can't for sure know that Q is actually supporting that or not, right? But we do know that the wave is catching on. Now, if you saw this, I think I showed this in my last video. If you actually went back and I showed you at the very end of the video, there's a Q, and you can see the arrows right here. I'm going to blow it up as much as I can for you to see this. This fire engine had a Q-74 on it at the end of that video when they showed the hostages being released from North Korea. Really cool thing. And Q takes this picture of his post number 74. So I wouldn't have recognized this because I'm using Cueanon.pub, which numbers things differently. But the new Patriot Fight board, the 74th post was all about this. And look at that, Q74, Q70, what a confirmation. This is a huge confirmation, guys. And so he asks us this, if you look at it, image search for fire truck engine. And that's at the very end of the video. If you go watch that, the hostage being released, etc., the one I play that was connected to an earlier post. I'm not going to go through it right now because it's really late tonight, and I got a big work day tomorrow. Here you go. But letter common in front of number. So in other words, is Q common for a fire truck? That's actually a ladder truck. You see it's a big, huge ladder truck holding up the flag, right? So a ladder truck, most experts, if you go talk to them, never have a Q on them, right? They have M for medical, or they have a B sometimes for certain type of vehicles, and then they have an E for so it all depends on what type of vehicle it is. And Q is very uncommon. If it is, it's a smaller truck, not a ladder truck. So this was done for me and you, more confirmation that Q is real. He's not compromised, and Trump is supporting him, because this is a Trump video put out that where that Q74 came at the end of that video. And so I'll put the link in when I find the video to make sure you have that, and you can see at the bottom of this video. Coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence. U.S. flag, post, castle lock, pointed ref, comms understood. And now he's talking here about the previous post that talked about castle lock, right? And if you read this post right here, let's read this again. This is the post 74 that he posted, I think it was yesterday or the day before. And it says, fellow patriots, you are about to learn, and what you are about to learn should not only scare you, but intensify your resolve to take back control, freedom. The information that will become public will further demonstrate the criminal and corrupt, pure evil abuse of power that the Hussein administration undertook in a joint effort with domestic and foreign dignitaries. The snowball has begun rolling. There is no stopping it now. D5. Stay the course and trust the plan. Protective measures are in place. Remain brave. We knew this day would come. the D5, remember, right? If you go back to yesterday's post, it's all about the chess moving in the center of the board. A lot of about that last movement. I showed you the movement of the bishop coming in and taking out the pawn and basically getting in checkmate in a famous chess match, right? So then it takes this video. This is the video. There's a link right there. Cool. So if you click on that right there, you're going to get the video. At the end of this video, you're going to see the fire truck. United We Stand worldwide. So that's for you, for all these. If you're a patriot, you're a patriot. You're fighting for your country, right? It's not. This is a worldwide movement where we go one, we go all, we fight. Conspiracy no more. So obviously they're coming at it with everything they have. I'm gonna come over here and post my little thing I forgot to post. Just say hi real quick to a couple people. The trumpeter, TG Sean, some new people I haven't seen yet. Lazek. This is an enemy state, the trumpeter. Looks like somebody I might have to just break. Let me know if I need to take the trumpeter out, because you will lose your privilege of being on this board if you're a shill. So here we go. Now I'm going to click on this real quick just to kind of show at the end of the video, because this is an amazing confirmation, one of many, many, many. Not like we need any more, right? But I think it's pretty cool to kind of show this once that comes up. Looks like that YouTube video is not going to come up for me. Might be a little bit too intense for trying to do this through my phone. So we'll look at it later. But anyway, I really highly suggest you go look at that video. Also the Comedy Central video, right? Now, here's some questions. And a couple things are posted here. And this is Michael Flynn saying, what does Eric Prince know about the actual contents of Wiener's laptop? I heard it's damning. Let Eric speak. Hashtag let Eric speak, right? This was way back. No, this is May 14th. Wow, he did that today. And so who knows where the bodies are buried? Reread the drops on who knows where. Rudy, now comes the pain. So he actually answered the question for us. Who knows where the bodies are buried? Reread drop. So he's asked this, who knows where the body's buried, many times. Rudy, he's kind of basically telling us now. It's Rudy. Now comes the pain. And he's starting to see this is like the third or fourth time. He said, here comes the pain. So, yeah, trumpeter, I think you're gone, dude. So, sorry, I got a troll on the board. And with a couple of clicks, I can get him off. If you're going to come here, let's have discussions, not name calling and be a jerk, trumpeter. So you're lucky it's being slow. So sorry for the little delay here, but it looks like with the put user in timeout. Okay, so let's move on here, guys. So some cool things about this. If you can move up, there's another picture that really goes into more detail on some things about what he's really talking about. And it's the Navy SEAL Eric Prince. So Eric Prince, if you dig into him, he was a Blackwater founder, and he was interviewed by Breitbart News and literally talked about the New York police telling him how I think you've heard that the New York police, hardened New York policemen who'd seen murders and all kinds of things, saw some of the worst things they've ever seen on that video on the laptop that made them cry. And so what he's digging into here says, Blackwater founder and former Navy SEAL Eric Prince told Breitbart News Daily on Sirius XM that according to one of his well-placed sources in the New York Police Department, the New York Police Department wanted to do a press conference and now announcing the warrants and the additional arrests that we're making in the Anthony Weiner investigation, but received huge pushback from the Justice Department. So I think now we've heard that Loretta Lynch making personal calls and making sure and threatening them with certain I'm not going to get into the actual threats, but it's sad that we had such a corrupt Justice Department in the previous administration. And then he's actually highlighting a few things, like April 8th here you'll see who was not pictured. And think double. It's interesting, and Q's actually posted this twice. So it's crazy if you look at it. And here's November, all the way back November 24th. Who knows where the bodies are buried. And there was some more here, and I wanted in my quest to let you guys think for yourself and be able to do this yourself. Make sure you go to Cueanon.pub and let me show you something. If you scroll all the way to the top, upper left, you've seen a lot of you have already seen me do this, but I want you to be able to do this for yourself, right? You can type in. It looks like I need to move this over just slightly. Hopefully I'm not jumping too much and you guys can see me. A new drop, says Frank. Wow, we've got a lot tonight, don't we? And if I type in, it looks like this is not going to be fast enough. I was going to show you guys, if you just put what he said, which would be where the body's buried, right? And he told us to actually, and I did this earlier when I wasn't live, and it worked perfectly. But and it basically said, reread drops for who knows where. If you just put knows where up here in the upper left, see if it's going to let me do it now. It'll actually filter everything, and then you can hit the Control F and do it again. So it'll be a little slow, but we'll get there. Yeah, so knows where. You can see there's six filters, all those 1,300 messages down to six, only six now. And then I can click over here again, and then hit Control F, and then go knows where again. Knows where. Now look, now I've got 8 matches. If I hit the back button on this search, it goes to the very first one. Look at this, was all back in November, right? When he first said the knows where. And that is the great thing about this feature. So now this is, again, back in November, he said, why is it so relevant? Set up who wins, who becomes exposed, who knows where the bodies are buried, who has access. This was the first time we see who knows where. And basically it was November 5th. So this is within the first week of Q posting. He was asking us who knows where the body's buried. And he told us today who he was talking about. Rudy Giuliani. Here he is, November 24th. He said it again. Who knows where the bodies are buried? The map is in front of you. Reread. Expand your thinking. Purposes for time being spent here. So there's a purpose for the time being spent here. So he really wanted us to really think through who would know where the bodies are buried. And then once again on December 5th, who knows where the bodies are buried? Flynn is safe. We protect our patriots. So he was telling us Flynn is safe all the way back in December. And he's asking us this question about who knows where the bodies are buried. And it's basically, I think, Flynn as well as Rudy, right? Because he kind of answers the question here, and he's telling us, I think, Rudy knows as well. Right, and here we are, another one that I think was on March 17th. So about every month he's asking us targeted. Why? Who knows where the bodies are buried? Cleared of all charges. Talking about Flynn here. Trump admin V2. And so I think what we're going to see is that Flynn and Rudy are working together because they know where the bodies are buried. Here we are all the way at the April 27th, so we had every month, basically. Here's another one. Define on record. Who knows where the bodies are buried? Flynn is safe. Expand your thinking. I think he's pretty much telling us it's Flynn and Rudy are the ones that know where all the bodies are buried, right? So that's how I got down to those 6 features, those 6 posts that had that term in there, and found the 8 matches, went backwards. I could see where it happened first. It's a great way to go research for yourself on this site. Right, you don't have to. This is not something that anybody has. This is not about like we talked about. You don't need anybody like Corsi to do this research for you, because you can go to the Great Awakening and look at yourself, or you can do some research yourself. That's what Q wants. He wants us to be learning for ourselves. Now he posted this a second time, which is interesting. So there's something in between I want to make sure I don't miss, and that is this post here, talking about Rudy Giuliani. Right, so. If you look at this, the post starts, so basically he reposted that same one we just read, and then he reposted this here where he says, Rudy, New York City, relationship high, insurance file? Look, that's what Eric Prince was talking about on Breitbart, right? And quiet until now, so it's been really quiet. Join POTUS legal team. That's talking about Rudy. Direct discussions available now with Mueller. Enjoy the show. They never thought they'd lose. Careless Q. So basically, he was reposting something he posted on 4/19, right? Just about a month ago, a little less than a month ago. But he's linking back to the new information, which is Flynn saying what does Eric Prince know about the actual contents of Wiener's laptop? I've heard it's damning. So he did that May 14th today at 6:16 p.m. So, and he knows where the bodies are buried, Rudy does, right? So here we are working with Flynn. So that's the whole thing, Flynn and Rudy working together to basically take all this down. So I think that's what this double is the double is most likely those two. Flynn and Rudy. If that's my interpretation, might not be right. You guys let me know what you think, and we'll get into this a little bit more. And so I'm not sure who. There's a picture here. I don't want to go back to it. Just don't have the time. But you guys have to let me know who what is not pictured. It says who or what is not pictured. Pictures leaked for this very moment. So I'm sure there was a picture here. If we go back to this post, I haven't had time to research that. Again, getting late here where I am. Who knows where the bodies are buried? And I think we got to be careful, guys. I tell you, when there's billboards and a website, with my picture sitting there, I've been warned by some people I need to be a little bit careful as the CIA comes after almost everybody that is in this movement. So let me this pain coming is something that's a theme that I showed you here. This is skipping around on me a little bit. Do apologize. The next one's 1366. And this is interesting. If I can get to 1366, settle down, computer. There it goes. So an anonymous person said this, and Q reposted it. He said, so the Anon says, I don't think it would be fair to say that a journalist can't make money when covering Q, but that's the difference. A journalist covering Q isn't necessarily usurping Q. The patriots in question were trying to usurp Q. The video explains what happened very well. It certainly cleared my head about it all. So this is another YouTuber similar to me that covered that exact post, the Serial Brain 2 that I went over with the snake. So I was worried that this was going to be me again. I think my wife and others are a little bit worried that some of this is going a little bit too public. Where Q actually posted somebody's video basically because he reposted this Anon who had the video, and it explained Serial Brain 2's post that I went over with you guys in the snake video, right? So another good QTuber I didn't even know about that you can go look at right there. More the merrier, like I said. And here's the post that I started. This pain coming. So he is serious about this, right? It's going to be this is that 22-week countdown that I talked to you about a couple of videos ago, and we're in that week now. It starts on the 18th to the 22nd, right? We're 4 days from being the final week of this countdown of something big really going to happen. This is 1368 tonight. He says Allison Mack of Nixium arrested. When was she arrested? And go look at it. I think it was 4:19. When does a bird sing? Obviously, when we're being interrogated, right? And then look, it's talking about Snyderman, the AG, former AG of New York resigns. When did he resign? It was like last Monday, like the May 10th, I think it was. So obviously, what Q's telling us is that Snyderman. That was just about these 4 women that he was beating the crap out of when having relationships with them, right? But obviously, we've heard that he was killing the Nixium investigation out of New York, and he was stopping that. But Allison Mack must have ratted on him. She sung like a bird. She ratted finally and got one of the kingpins out of there. So coincidence? Obviously, Q tells us there are no coincidences. Eyes wide open. Who will be next? Watch New York City. Watch California. Woo! So that's pretty cool. So we know, hey, that, got some things going, bugging the script. Hopefully we are still live. Let me know if we're still live, guys. Hey, T, I'm going to say, it says stop script or continue script. There's an unresponsive script. So we'll hopefully not, that error still have us going. We might not have the live people going. It looks like we're working. New to the channel, loving this. Always fun listening to you. Thanks. God bless you, Catherine. All right, so we are still going. Cool stuff here. So now, who is next? Who from New York City is going to get busted next? Who from California is going to get busted next? It's nice they are cleaning the house here. Somebody said there's a new post, so I'm going to try to reply because that was the last one I know of, and I got a lot of news to go through that, and then we'll go through a prophecy as well that kind of talks about the same exact stuff, right? It's gonna, it's not gonna be in a hurry anytime soon. And another thing I want to address, I know I've talked about that Q app, and there's some truthers that are just attacking anybody that ever makes any money on anything, and I'm glad Q pretty much gave us the information that is not his intention of calling out Corsi and Alex Jones. It was because they had a plan. Obviously, they know everything. They know that. And I'm worried for Alex and Corsi. To be honest, I'm thinking they've been threatened to the point. They're either agents or they've been threatened, right? And so anyway, but there's two movements trying to crush Cueanon. One of them is the deep state trying to crush it, right? And the others are these truthers that hate anybody that's a truther that makes money. And that's just, and that, to me, both of those are cancer, right? So, for instance, I couldn't find any proof. Please let me know if you do know that the Q app I showed you guys that you can get for 99 cents, and they've had like 2,000 downloads or so. So that's less than $2,000, right? Or a little over $2,000 if you look at it, and then they have one on the Android. But that's not a ton of money, and I know how hard it is to build apps. That's kind of part of what I do in the technology industry, right? Doesn't look like there's any more Q drops. So now we can go on to the news, and so we have quite a bit here, and I was showing you all these that are the posts from Smartsville. I did want to show you this. Here's the Smartsville actress, and show you this was April 20th. And then if you go back down here and read more, you'll say a lot of this happened on Friday when she was arrested. So that's when she was arrested. It was April 19th. And then Eric Snyderman, here he is, the New York mayor. All the 4 women claimed his assault. That happened on, I think, May 4th, Monday, May 4th. So that's the answer that he was asking about the dates. Obviously saying that Allison Mack here was the bird that was singing about all this NXIVM cult, which seems to be really deep within all the way into relationships into the Clinton Foundation. So this is going to be big, guys. Eric Schneiderman was protecting that cult, the sex cult, that is child self-trafficking. That's how sick these people are, right? Protecting sex trafficking people, and it's going to be good. Here's a cartoon I thought that was cool. This is Ben Garrison, who's just awesome, right? And he talks about a house divided, and I think it's talking about us, right? So it's real interesting. But it actually, look at this. There's a rope with a Q, and it's Cueanon, right? So we have Ben Garrison talking about Cueanon. So again, secret no more, conspiracy no more. This is happening. So this is more talking about a house divided maybe between, here we have Republicans and Democrats. And, here's a Statue of Liberty with a question mark on it. Here's a flag that's got, completely changing things on it. Nazi, people making numbers. But anyway, just another good cartoon. War, no war, our republic, freedom. Here's a person with a MAGA hat on. Never Trump, says the rat. Right. So just again, the house divided, I think, is talking about the United States, and it's kind of sad. But hey, remember what Mark Taylor's saying, what Kim Clement's saying, and what I've been praying for. Right. Is that we are going to be coming together as a nation after we get rid of all these criminals out of our government. So it's going to be a beautiful thing. So keep praying, please. Keep fighting. Patriots fight. Fight, patriots fight, just like Q would say, right? Here's another thing, just an update. I'm sorry I'm having to do this. I don't want to talk about this, but it's Jerome Corsi again. Here's a warning. And so there's obviously a lot of anons out there that are not named. They don't want to be named. They're just doing patriot-type work in the background. And unfortunately, Corsi is basically saying right here, when some guy talks about this guy right here, Todd Ostrich, says, if the May drops prove fruitless, then please send everyone Code Monkey's identity and any evidence you have to show Q was comped other than just opinion. This movement cannot stay divided, and it's within your influence to bring it back together. So here's basically somebody that's agreeing with the CIA operatives trying to compromise Q, and of course he shows his colors by saying will do. So this, guys, I'm telling you, either Corsi is a Mossad, as people have tried to tell me, or he's being threatened. So pray for him. Pray for him, because this is sad is what it is. We know Code Monkey has not been compromised. We know Q's given us great information and confirmation that he is working with Trump, like the Q74 on that fire truck. And so he's given us confirmation that he's working with Trump. So this is anti-Trump stuff. So let's understand where the division's coming from. Right, the division's coming from people trying to, and this is sad. Here's another, and this was yesterday, and then and they're posting the person's picture, Code Monkey's picture and name. So it's called doxing. You're basically to people who want to be anonymous, and you're doxing them out. So they're talking about clowns are doxing supporters of QAnon to intimidate and for payback, right? Since now that he's outed, he's going to show his true colors. Scary stuff here. So more great news that are all Q related, right? I showed you the new site, and interesting. Oh, another thing here that I want to show you, that if you go to here, the journalist, I'm not here, but there's a bunch of other Q tubers. And for those of you who don't know, there's here's a praying medic. I think he's a Christian. Deception Bites is a sweet gal who does a good job of decoding. You got Justin Form Talk, who's a Christian as well. And most of these people have Patreon accounts, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't have one, as you know, but I do have something that's trying to help my wife's business, right? That won't cost you a dime. It just saves you money on any services you're spending money on right now. And I thought it was cool here. It's talking about Trump prophecies, which I read at the end of all my deal, right? Mark Taylor and Mary Colbert. So they're gonna have a link there here soon. So anyway, I'm not sure exactly what this. Oh, look at Citizens Q journalist. So anyway, just want to let you know that. So it's weird that they put me on one part of the site, but not the other one. But not a big deal. I'm not in this to be famous, and I think a lot of people are being concerned that my face is getting out there too much anyway. So here's the Dan Bongino show. Man, okay, I wanted to talk to you about this. Okay, this is the part that a lot of you disagree with me, and that's fine. That's the cool thing about this. This is us studying together. I'm giving you my opinion. You guys give me your opinion. I read your comments as much as I can. Probably not going to be able to do much this week, but and I can tell you our opinions. And there's brilliant people like Dan Bongino giving his opinion. So I listened to him on a 4-hour drive today, right? And it was interesting that I caught up with all his his podcast from last week, and he came to a conclusion that basically said that he's put all these names together. It's a beautiful orchestration of all the names and investigation he's done. He's about ready to put a book out, right? And his conclusion is this, is that Mueller is a black hat, and Mueller is attacking everybody that had criminality with Clinton, and also were planted into Trump's campaign somehow, and then they're attacking. The insurance policy was to attack with the Russian collusion story, right? Because they're projected the crimes of the Clinton Foundation and Clintons onto Trump, trying to project that. That was the insurance policy, right? And Mueller's enforcing that by taking all these people that were involved with Trump in any way that they probably planted there, and that's where Dan Bongino's coming, and that way they won't talk about Trump. So he thinks that there's no way, he even said 100% chance, and then he said, well, 99.9 cents. Dan Bongino comes to the conclusion that Mueller is a black hat. And you guys know I don't agree with that. And I still don't agree with that. But here's the cool thing, is that Dan Bongino's put all that together, and he doesn't even look at QAnon. He's doing that all from mainstream media sources. He looks at Wall Street Journal, he looks at the New York Times, and he looks at all the Mockingbird media stuff and the factual stuff that he can get out of. He knows there's fake news on all those. He talks about it. But he looks at all these sources, whether it's conservative or liberal, and tries to pull together truth. And he's now come to the conclusion that Mueller is interviewing all these people that are connected to who? Both Hillary and Trump. His conclusion is they're attacking it to try to shut them up about Hillary. I think it's just the opposite. I really do. I think this is the proof that this is the biggest sting in history. And let me show you a couple of examples real quick. Here it is. We got FBI had source inside Trump team claims Fusion GPS founder. So this is huge that Virginia was pointing out is that this is way back when Fusion CCS said that they basically had a human spy in the Trump campaign. And Fusion CPS basically admitted to this, right? This was back in January 9th. But they later retracted it, right? And now we're realizing, and Nunes is all over this, and realized there was a plant that is being used still today, that Mueller is part of Mueller's investigation. That's a human source. So the big question is, who's the source? And what it's going to show them is they're in trouble, because it's going to show that their story about the investigation started when, was it Papadopoulos, right? Had and that's when it started. But this human source was before that, way before that, showing that indeed the Obama administration was clearly spying on the Trump team, and that the whole Fusion GPS and all that was a cover to try to cover up just in case they lost, right? And do the insurance policy of trying to do this Russian campaign. So interesting stuff that's coming out. But let me get back to why I still think Mueller is working with the White Hats. Okay, so here's another article about Kimberly Strassel. You can go do some research. And this one came out in the Wall Street Journal that was only 3 days ago, real recent. And it's back to this FBI placed a mole inside the Trump campaign. So it looks like the FBI placed a mole before their supposed story of when they started the investigation. That's huge. Just think about that. Okay, so here's what's happening. Eric, we just talked about Eric, right? Here we go. There's three kind of correlations here, and I'm going to go back to here just real quick. The whole thing about that Flynn was talking about is intriguing. Oh, darn it, I hate it when my machine is slower than you want it to be. Let me get back to that Q post. There it is. So if I go back, you'll see there's, and Dan Bongino pulls this together beautifully when it's talking about Eric Prince, right? He's Navy SEAL. Eric Prince used to be a Blackwater founder, right? He's not with Blackwater anymore. But if you take that and you really look into all the reasons why Mueller is actually interviewing Eric Prince now. So that's what I wanted to make sure you knew, that Eric Prince that we just looked about, he's also being interviewed by the special counsel. Why would Mueller be interviewing the special counsel? Well, I mean Eric Prince. I mean, he's a citizen. He's not even in government, right? So, well, if you look back, all the ties goes back to the Clinton Foundation again, through Cohn, through all these other things that are happening, and it comes back to Eric Prince and these two victors. I call them the two victors: Victor Veckelsberg, a Russian billionaire, and this guy right here too. There's Victor Veckelsberg, and there's also Victor Pinch. Remember Victor Pinch? We talked about him before too. So look at this. Here's Victor Pinch as an example. He is one of the richest persons, and the Forbes ranked him the 1,250th wealthiest people in the world, worth $1.44 billion. And if you go research this, he gave Trump some small little, and I'm going to go like this, go Trump. Control F, hit Trump, right? A $150,000 speaking fee, basically. Okay? So we know Mueller's jumping in there and investigating that. But what is he really doing? I think he's giving the IG the real goods. Type in Clinton. Look at this. How much did he give Clinton? Just between 1994 and 2005, Pinchuk donated $10 to $25 million. So into the Clinton Foundation. And if you go look back and the Russian technology that was stolen from us through all these connections, and that person in WikiLeaks was one of the founders of that company, was actually invited in one of the WikiLeaks emails to Hillary Clinton's house. You start pulling all this together, and what's happening is, I believe Mueller's going in there and attacking everybody that has connections to both Trump and Clinton, and they only report the Trump stuff, and the rest of the stuff they're finding on Clinton, they're giving to the IG. And that's where all those sealed indictments are coming. The big takedowns about ready to happen, guys. Guarantee you it's going to happen before November. Mark my words on that. So anyway, that's Victor Pinchik, which we talked about before. You probably saw an Anon talking about that. And then there's this Victor Vekselberg, who's worked even more. He's basically a Ukrainian that's worth $13.6 billion. You connect all these parts together. Again, they have most what Trump is, what Mueller is attacking. It's people that have both ties to Trump and Hillary. They are probably planted into the Trump organization, is what Dan Bongino feels, and believes, and he believes that that's a big smokescreen. That's his word. It's a smokescreen trying to protect Hillary, and I think it's the opposite. It's the biggest thing in history, where all the information he is digging up goes right to the IG with the $1.25 million documents that they have. That's why the IG report is going to take down this big state. So that's kind of the biggest part of the news I wanted to make sure I shared with you guys. There's a couple other articles, and then we'll get into a prophecy real quick. I wanted to talk to you. There's the video that was posted in the other site, Dan Bongino. I know I had a couple other things here that I wanted to show you real quick. Here's a Fusion GPS from behind. Disputed Russia dossier retracts its claim of the FBI mole. So that was when they retracted it, right? Because now they're realizing they're in trouble. There's an FBI mole that they talked about and that screwed up their story, timing-wise. So that's why this whole house of cards is going to fall once we get a little bit more of those documents. Go back and get on Dan Bongino's show. He puts show notes there. These are awesome articles. There's another Sarah A. Carter, so SarahACarter.com. Every few days she gives another one. A couple days ago here she is, Grassley demands DOJ and FBI turn over all information on Flynn. So if you dig through this article again, you just see that the information's coming out now that's going to show this corruption like never before. So wow, crazy things going on. Now let me show you a prophecy that was actually made by Kim Clement. Now this is, again, Kim Clement. So this is not Mark Taylor. Kim Clement, I think, passed away right before the election. But has a lot of eerie things I just saw that were just amazing, and I've read quite a bit. There's just one here I wanted to look at that talked about Rudy, probably most likely about Rudy Giuliano, and that's what I wanted to look at here. So this was on April 4th, 2007, and this is Kim Clement prophesying what he feels the Lord's telling him. So this is the Lord speaking from Kim Clement. This that shall take place shall be the most unusual thing, a transfiguration, a going into the marketplace, if you wish, into the news media, where Time magazine will have no choice but to say what I want them to say. Newsweek, what I want them to say. The View, what I want them to say. Trump shall be a trumpet, says the Lord. Trump shall be a trumpet. I will raise up the trump to become a trumpet, and Bill Gates to open up the gate of financial realm for the church, says the Lord. For God said, I will not forget 9/11. I will not forget what took place that day. And I will not forget the gatekeeper that watched over New York, who will once again stand and watch over this nation, says the Spirit of God. It shall come to pass that man that I shall place in the highest office shall go in whispering my name. But God said, when he enters into the office, he will be shouting out by the power of the Spirit. For I shall fill him with my Spirit when he goes into the office. And there will be a praying man in the highest seat in your land. So, whoa. But did you catch the part about Rudy Giuliani? So talking about right here. And so I think this shows that we know Rudy didn't get a position. And so a lot of people are saying, well, maybe is it a false prophecy by Kim Clement? We'll give it some time, right? Because now he's back in representing Trump. He's going to help take down this deep state. And then he's going to probably put in something where he will once again stand watch over this nation. Because he was the governor of New York during 9/11. So he basically says, and I will not forget the gatekeeper that watched over New York, who will once again stand and watch over this nation, says the Spirit of God. So I thought that was kind of a cool prophecy that kind of pulled a lot of this together. But pain is coming for the deep state, for the Illuminati, for the cabal. for those that are being corrupt in all levels of government and even outside of government, in the churches. Just like Mark Taylor's talking about, time is up for those who are corrupt. And pain is coming. So it's going to be a lot going on here. We know that Rudy Giuliani as well as Flynn knows where the bodies are buried, and they've been working on it together to take some things down. Let me say a prayer, and I'll talk to you guys for a little bit. Looks like this script is really messing up, unfortunately, guys. Hopefully that keeps you here. Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for this platform, be able to speak to people that I've developed a relationship. It was so awesome to see this and worship with some of the subscribers in Denver, Colorado this weekend on Mother's Day, and be able to just worship with them and hear some of the best worship music I've heard in my life. Lord, what a privilege that is. What a privilege it is to serve you with other people. And Lord, we thank you for your justice that's about ready to happen. Allow us to stay strong, Lord. Please confuse the enemy's plans. Allow all this just dishonest reporting about Cueanon to be exposed for what it is. Just use it to actually bring more people to the truth. Bring more people to you, Lord. Allow us to be your vessels. Lord, please protect the children. Please heal the people that have been hurt by this deep state and the evil human trafficking and gun running and drug running and the evil that's happening in this world. Expose it all, Lord. Confuse enemy plans and allow us to do your work. We love you, Lord. We thank you for this time. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, amen. Guys, we'll wrap it up here. I'm just going to bring you over to this other screen. So I've been using the TV, this big, huge TV, to see if I could see some comments every once in a while, but it looks like the script is kind of messing up. So, but I see Kate and Spartan and Morgan and Rory and Hortons and Frank and Esmeralda. Be truthful. Yeah, which hide a beast hunt says be truthful. Human spy, part of the plan. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think the human spy was corrupt part of the FBI plan. Is what happened. Yeah, I think he's right. Alabama planted it there. The Punisher comic symbol. Yep, that's what they're. It's funny that actually was first introduced in the year 1974. I didn't know that. Oh, that's pretty cool. So it looks like the live feed's not working since the script died. But hey, guys, really appreciate y'all. Yeah, this was like 10:43 and it's 10:55, so it looks like this quit working about 12 minutes ago. But wanted to just thank you all. Hopefully, we're still streaming, it says. So we'll hopefully catch you guys tomorrow. God bless. Talk to you soon.